The following program is intended for mature audiences.
What do you say we have a rock and roll party?
You're listening to Basically a Sports Show.
Follow us on Twitter at Basically Sports.
Subscribe to our podcast on iTunes.
And check out every episode of the show at basicallysports.tumblr.com.
Now here's your hosts, Zach,
Greg, Mike.
And you're listening to Basically a Sports Show.
The absolute worst!
People hate it. Some people don't know what to think about it. Some people are like leaning left, leaning right. It's besides, whether you hate it or love the prequel movies, this is the most divisive Star Wars movie.
All I'll say, without spoiling anything, is that, and this isn't spoiling because it's in the freaking trailers. That clip of Luke in the trailers where he goes, "This isn't going to go how you think it's going to go," is more than apt.
Yeah, it does a lot to question everything that you've known about Star Wars.
No, that's kind of cool, I think.
You expect things to happen and then they don't, or they're taken in a different way. It asks a lot of questions about stuff that you just kind of accept, or it's like, well, why do you think blank blank blank? And it's like,
let me ask you guys this. And again, I've not seen it yet. Really quick before we go into that, I should explain that we will be doing the Bass Star Wars Holiday Special later this week, but due to circumstances out of my control, I wasn't able to see the movie this weekend, so we're doing a regular show tonight. Then we will have the Star Wars Holiday Special like in a couple days. But anyway, so based on what you've just said, with it going different directions and like zigging where you thought it was going to zag, do you think that's a reaction to everyone saying how Force Awakens was basically A New Hope redone?
Something that people bring up is that this is very much the director's movie. And there are things that, that The Force Awakens sets up that it was clear the writer, Rian Johnson, said, I'm not interested in that, so I'm going to look at this stuff instead.
There's only one thing I really didn't like about the movie, and we'll get to that when we get to it. But all in all, I was a fan. I would say that, again, you have some people who, after The Force Awakens came out, you had a very small but vocal minority saying, well, say what you will about the prequels, but at least they tried new things. I would say this movie is a competently done version of that sentiment, where it's like, yeah, the prequels try new things, but the execution was garbage on almost every level. Again, not getting into spoilers, but they reference like a specific event from the prequels, and the way that it's referenced, it's like, oh man, I really want to see that. Oh, wait, I did, and it was bad.
I want to see that movie.
It's like, oh, no, you already did see it, and it sucked. Sorry.
But
I've tried to get reviews that are like spoiler-free and stuff, and it does seem pretty mixed.
I honestly think this is going to be a movie whose reputation grows as time goes on.
This feels like, to me, that while there are a lot of people on the fence or divided or they don't know what to think about it, after a couple extra viewings and whenever Episode 9 comes out, Episode 9 will color a lot of people's opinions of what happens in this.
I will say, I think there's a bit of credence to Greg saying that at least some aspects of this movie were a reaction to Force Awakens, because, again, and this isn't a spoiler, this doesn't spoil anything, but I do think that a lot of the General Hux and Kylo Ren stuff might have been even unknowingly influenced by the emo Kylo Ren Twitter account. Like, there are just a few things here and there where it's like, come on.
I read that somewhere too, that there's a lot of humor in this one.
It's definitely got the Marvel Disney influence is visible in that aspect.
I'm looking forward to it.
There is about a half hour that does not need to be in this movie, but we can talk about that when we see it. Opening box office numbers, 220 million in the U.S. and 451 around the world. Biggest opening weekend of all time, and of course the first would be Force Awakens. But
I'm looking forward to it. I can't wait to see it. I was disappointed.
Warner Brothers wishes they could get that for Justice League.
Oh, poor Justice.
And I like Justice League a lot, but
I did too.
Did it get like just steamrolled?
Well, I think maybe one of the mistakes it might have made is how long was it before Star Wars that it was released? Wasn't that long? What, a month maybe, if that?
Yeah.
Yeah, that's a little too close. You got to give yourself. You got to stay away from, like, once you know the date that this thing's coming out, you got to get far, far away from it because you're going to get eaten alive.
Was it the week before or the week after Thor?
I want to say after.
Week after, yeah.
Yeah, and I don't think that anyone could have expected Thor to do the numbers it did and be as well received as it was. based on the previous stores. And you put it in the middle of the summer, and there's so many other things. Like, there's no good time to put a movie that's going to get such a lukewarm response that you already know with Justice League. It just, November was where they put it, and they couldn't have put it any earlier due to the studio stuff, and they didn't want to put it later because of Star Wars. So, Well,
and another problem it has, and I think we'll all agree, is that DC just doesn't. The DC movies just don't have very good reputation.
No, and I thought
outside of the Dark Knight trilogy, there's nothing there. What?
I thought Wonder Woman would have helped it a little bit, because people say, "Oh, well, maybe if the movie can be like this," but it just too much of the BVS stuff and the Snyder stuff, despite him not finishing the movie and not. It's almost. I think that movie was ultimately saved, unfortunately, because he had to leave the project because of his daughter's death. But I think the Joss Whedon stuff helped that movie out a bit. But unless the thing was going to be a runaway hit, it was always going to be a failure for Warner Brothers, and they need to find some way to fix it because. I don't know. There's no way these things should fail, but they are. I
don't know how you fix that universe at this point. I don't know how you do it. You've got to do the reboot, right? You have to.
Well, yeah, and the problem is if you do the reboot now, it's like you can't reboot it so soon.
No?
And the advice would be just put it to the side for like 10 years and wait. But they'll never be able. They won't want to do that because, Marvel and Star Wars and
I still think the DC thing is salvageable if they can turn the standalone Batman movie into a success.
Oh yeah, and that's the thing is Batman will always drive the Warner Brothers DC ship because he's as much as Superman is the American icon.
Yeah,
he doesn't relate. People don't relate to Superman as much as they want him to.
No, when the Superman thing came and went with the first two in the 70s, Superman, the first Superman and the second one. Those were those. I mean, they were kind of hokey and all that, but that's the Superman movies. Those were it, and you're going to be hard pressed to top those because they still play them today.
Yeah. And the problem now is and this is the reason why I don't really like Superman all that much. You can't. He's a god.
Yeah.
What do you do to fight Superman? You have to make him be like, questioning my identity and who am I? Or throw a green shiny rock at his face.
Yeah.
And it's silly because anytime he's in any sort of peril, it's like he's Superman. He can punch his way out of it. He can blow a laser beam. He can fly. He can do and his powers were never properly defined, so he can literally do anything.
Well, so, I think you're wrong, Mike. I think what saves the DC universe is 90s Superman with the black uniform or the black costume. And...
Apparently, that was supposed to be in this movie, and they cut it out.
Oh,
that
those
was
bastards!
Probably for the best.
Those bastards! How could they?
I know. I really should have thought because the digitally removing the mustache thing was so off-putting. They should have let him wear the black suit with a mustache.
Yeah.
I would have at least kept the mustache.
Yeah, why the hell not? Whatever.
Porn star Superman. That's awesome.
Who cares? I mean, but yeah, there's stuff to be salvaged. I think they can make a good Flash movie out of that. Do you
guys watch the Flash TV show?
No.
It's actually not bad. I enjoy it. I enjoyed the first season, I will say. The second one, I kind of slipped away after I watched it on Hulu or whatever it's on. I like the first season a lot. The second one, because they right away went into the alternate, world, Flash, and everything like that. It's too soon for that. But anyway, go ahead. Sorry, I didn't mean to interrupt.
And the thing that I didn't think I would ever say in my lifetime, I am kind of excited for the Aquaman movie.
Yeah, that was they pulled that off well.
They did.
Well, he's biker Aquaman. He's going to be on a Harley. He's going to be cool.
I don't know how I felt about him needing to make an air bubble underwater so they could talk. Because you're gonna have to do that for the entire movie.
What I liked about Aquaman, which was kind of hilarious, was when I saw Justice League twice, and part of the reason why I saw it twice was because the first time I saw it, there was actually a malfunction in the projector, and as soon as we got to the Aquaman scene, almost as soon as the scene changed, it started projecting like in blurred double vision.
Yeah.
And they didn't get it fixed until that scene was almost over. So I was thinking, oh man, Aquaman's lameness broke the movie. But Aquaman was cool. I liked Batman, like kind of taking him aside and be like, so, do you really like talk to fish?
Yeah. I mean, that's one of those Joss Whedon jokes that like it either hits or it doesn't. And I thought it was okay. It was a little corny. And I did like Aquaman's response to it. It's like, no, I control the currents. It's like
the water does the talking, and Batman's like, oh yeah, okay, that makes sense.
Oh, that's cool. I think that's a good explanation. I like that better, actually. But yeah, see, all you got to do, you want to save a DC heroes, you tat him up, make him look like a Harley rider, bam, good to go. See, they saved Aquaman.
Yeah, because I mean, people want it to, and they did use more color in this, but they want it to be like the Marvel movies where it's like explosions and color and happiness and fun, and it's like, yeah, you can do that, but you want. I always applauded DC's direction of trying to provide a different experience.
That's
because,
actually
like, we do the same thing that Marvel does, just with different characters. It's really not that interesting.
Like, that's one of the reasons why I think I like Batman versus Superman a lot more than other people, is because like at the end of the day, when you watch it, it's like this is a completely different type of movie from anything Marvel's doing.
Yeah,
and
I think
it is a different sort of experience. This kind of had some Marvel, like Josh Whedon obviously was a big thing, but honestly, I don't think it hurt it any. I thought The Flash was great. Like, I'm pretty sure Josh Whedon rewrote all of the Flash's scenes.
Yeah, I thought The Flash was fun.
Yeah, like I said, I've always been a fan of The Flash. I think of all the DC comics, I probably read his the most when I was a kid.
Yeah, and
I liked the TV show. Again, I thought they went to the alternate world way too quick because the viewing audience is not. They're not aware of all that stuff, like, say, the hardcore reader is. So you don't want to.
See, that's the thing. Apparently, the Flash movie, if they do what they want to do, it's going to be the Flashpoint story in movie form, where they would introduce the alternate universes.
Yeah.
And the idea of that apparently is if they can pull off Flashpoint in the movie, then they can establish that there are multiple universes.
Right.
They can make multiple versions of Batman. They can make multiple versions of whoever.
Christian Bale coming back.
Right. They could establish like the Christian Bale universe exists. The Val Kilmer universe exists.
Oh God, they got back like Val Kilmer to play Batman in like Batman crossover.
You know what? I'm
Christian Bale, George Clooney, and Val Kilmer all back like together for that movie. I would die.
I'm gonna take
with Val Kilmer wearing the bat nipple suit.
Like, that was Clooney. Clooney had the bat nipple.
Both he and Clooney had the bat.
I didn't. Okay. Well, anyway, I'm going to give probably an unpopular opinion here, but I thought Kilmer did an okay job. Not great. Not
well. Despite the fact that he couldn't breathe through his nose, so he just looks like an idiot with his mouth open half the movie.
Well, that's true. Yeah. But yeah, I thought he was solid. I mean, obviously, I thought Keaton did a great job.
Keaton was good.
Yeah, but now then we get to George Clooney, who I think could have been good, but that script was such garbage. There was nothing they could do with it.
Well, did anyone see Spider-Man Homecoming? Because Michael Keaton's kind of a terrifying individual these days.
He's a good actor. He's always been a good actor.
Yeah.
He's really good. I want to...
One more thing on Star Wars, kind of bringing it back to Star Wars, but I believe this even more so after seeing The Last Jedi. We goddamn need Billy D. Williams back playing Uncle Lando, because Uncle Lando needs to pay a visit to Kylo Ren.
Well, Uncle Lando has got to be in his 80s or 70s by now.
Yeah.
He ain't Billy D. He ain't smooth Billy D. anymore, man. He's more like Fred Sanford Billy D. You know, a little older and.
Well, that's even more awesome. Like
that would be kind of cool.
Like again, kind of going off that emo Kylo Ren Twitter account, like. Uncle Lando said that my helmet made me look like a sad lampshade, and then everyone laughed and high-fived him. I hate this family. Like, we need some of that. Like, come on, give me Uncle Lando.
You know what? Yeah, bring back Billy D. Williams, because that dude's got the coolest fucking voice I've ever heard. I don't care what anybody says. He's just, the way he talks is just awesome.
Well, what have we here?
I also want him holding a wine glass of Colt 45.
Right. You remember those commercials, right? The Billy D and the Colt 45?
They brought him back. They made new ones.
Oh, did they?
Yeah.
Because that dude, I think that there's only like 4 or 5 people that just break the cool meter, and he's one of them. It's just like, this dude is just, you can't even define the coolness that this guy has going for him. Yeah, I'd love to see Uncle Lando come back. That'd be nice. But I'm going to go see it tomorrow finally, and then we can talk about it in full detail, which will be, and just ahead of time, folks, if you're listening to the show, it's going to be filled with spoilers. So if you haven't seen it, I'd suggest waiting to listen to that episode until after you've seen the movie, because we're not going to be, you can't talk about the movie and go, oh, we can't talk about that. We can't. So it'll be spoiler filled. Just to keep that in mind. So yeah, Star Wars Holiday Special, the second one coming up later this week. I would like to discuss the wonderful catch rule in the NFL a little bit. Because we saw it happen again yesterday, and a pretty good football game that could have been a classic, but I think the Steelers got totally screwed.
Steelers screwed themselves with that stupid fake spike thing.
Well, yeah,
but they wouldn't have to do it if this was called correctly.
Yeah.
Like, and this is the thing that I don't. This is the real crux of why it's annoying to me and annoying to a lot of football fans that I saw. If he was a runner,
yep,
and you break the plane of the goal line, it's a touchdown.
Yes.
If you're a receiver, in the past it used to just be football, hands on football, 2 feet on ground, and then in the end zone in some fashion.
No. The ball has to survive the ground, you see.
Right. Now the ball has to survive the ground. Because the guy gets his 2 hands on the ball, his feet are planted on the 1 yard line, he turns around to dive for the end zone because he wants to score the game-winning touchdown, but because it comes loose when his hands at the ground, it's not even a fumble. It's on his arms. He just doesn't have full possession of it. It's not a touchdown.
You know what? I think that again, by the definition of the rule, I suppose it was the correct call, but I'm going to go even so far as to say that I don't know that necessarily it was correct even under the current rules. Because
I'm not sure what the exact rule is, to be perfectly friggin' honest.
Well, neither am I, but based on what we've seen, like the Dez Bryant and some of the other catches that have been called based on this kind of nonsense. But if you look at the play,
you remember the original time this happened with Calvin Johnson?
Well, God.
He caught it, put it on the ground, and no, that's not a catch.
But
what?
The Steeler guy caught it. His knees were on the ground. He caught the ball. He clearly had possession, and he turned. So what
he made a football move.
Isn't that what I was going to say? Isn't part of the rule you have to make a football move?
No,
that's not the rule anymore.
Oh well, see, too bad.
It's now a move that is common to the game.
I think going for the end zone is common to the game.
I think they even took that part out. You know what? I'm going to find the actual receiving rule.
Well, anyway, but the point I wanted to bring up is how in the hell do we fix this? I think you just got to go.
You need the only way to fix it is to burn the entire NFL rulebook down and start again from scratch.
Oh wow, this is going to be a thrilling read.
Well, don't you think?
The only way is to scrap it all and be like, all right, we're going to rewrite the NFL rulebook, and go, well, in our new interpretation, we're going to opt for simplicity. So that's a catches list and so on and so forth.
Why not just on a replay thing? Let me get this in really quick, Zach, before you start, because this is going to be some dry radio we're about to do here. But why not? And again, I know that because we clearly can't come up with a way to define a catch. So why can't it be made this simple? On a questionable catch like that, with the replay, instead of going to just one official, they all 6 get together and they go, okay, 4 of us think it's a catch, 2 don't. Guess what? It's a catch. Simple as that. Use the eye test and have 6 people in there. I don't know what you do if it's 3-3, then I guess the official up in the booth settles it. But you know what I mean? That's the best way to solve this. Get rid of trying to define it and just go, okay, it looks like a catch, must be a catch. Because I think that 99% of the people in the country would have called that a catch last night. This is nonsense. Go ahead. Let's hear what it actually is supposed to be here.
All right. Here is the official NFL rulebook, Article 3. Rule 8, Section 1, Article 3.
Oh, my God.
Here we go. Completed or intercepted pass. Ready? A player who makes a catch may advance the ball. A forward pass is complete by the offense or intercepted by the defense if a player who is inbounds, A, secures control of the ball in his hands or arms prior to the ball touching the ground, and B, touches the ground inbounds with both feet or with any part of his body other than his hands, and C, and this is where we have all of the thoughts, maintains control of the ball after A and B have been fulfilled until he has the ball long enough to clearly become a runner. A player has the ball long enough to become a runner when, after his second foot is on the ground, he is capable of avoiding or warding off impending contact of an opponent, tucks the ball away, turning up field, or taking additional steps. C327, item 2. Yeah. And then the end zone catches says the requirements for a catch in the end zone are the same as the requirement for a catch in the field of play. Here's another one. Player going to the ground. This is the other part which we saw, which I guess they thought he was going to the ground despite him having him diving. A player is considered to be going to the ground if he does not remain upright long enough to demonstrate that he is clearly a runner. If a player goes to the ground in the act of catching a pass with or without contact by an opponent, he must control the ball until after his initial contact with the ground, whether in the field of play or the end zone. If he loses control of the ball and the ball touches the ground before he regains control, the pass is incomplete. If he regains control prior to the ball touching the ground, the pass is complete. So in this instance with Jesse James and the Steelers, he caught the pass, but because he didn't attempt to run, because he just tried to fall backwards and dive into the end zone to score the points,
right?
He never clearly attempted to become a runner. It's despite had he had he waited an extra half second, I guess he'd be a runner. It's got to be fixed because I'm not a fan of either team, but I hate seeing what was a really good game end in the hands of the officials. It drives me nuts, and it happens. They're making a catch is like one of the most simple things. It's one of the most elementary parts of a football game. And to anybody, if you're watching it and you say, "Oh, well, that's a catch," if you're watching and say that's a catch, that's a touchdown. Generally speaking, it should be a catch and it should be a touchdown. Unless upon review, it's like, "Oh, well, actually he trapped it," or "Oh, actually the ball hit the ground," or whatever. But in that instance, he got the ball, had 2 feet on the ground, turned and dove for the end zone, but because he lost the ball when he broke the plane, it's an incomplete pass.
Couldn't you argue, too, on that play that with him on his knees the way he was, and after he had caught the ball and turned, at that point he became a runner? Because I think he clearly had established possession at that point.
He was facing, yeah. If you have the ball and you were able to turn around before dropping, I don't know. It's a dumb rule, and the Patriots got to win, and now they're tied on top of the AFC, and we're just marching towards the inevitable hell. But the good thing is the Steelers were competitive with them in the game ultimately, and they did have a chance to win it at the end.
Yeah, and, that's what I mean. That's what drives me nuts about it, because it was decided by officiating. And one more thing with replay. I've heard everybody saying this. I didn't know. I thought they had to watch replays in real time. I did not know they were able to slow it down to the ridiculous levels that we can see on the TV replays.
They do watch it in real time. That's what they said, at least when they were doing the review on TV.
Oh, okay.
They're watching in real time.
Because I heard Bill Simmons talking about it today. They cut it down to 3 frames. You know what I mean? And just a little. But if they can't do that, then if it's got to be in real time, then I'm okay with it. But I don't know. The whole thing
Ultimately, here's the thing too: is the Steelers gave Tom Brady too much time on the clock, and then played. Well,
yeah, and you drop a sure interception.
Yeah, the game-winning drive was a sure interception that's dropped, and then 3 straight completions to Gronk. And
don't give Tom Brady a second chance. It's kind of that simple.
I know you guys thought I was nuts last week, but I think he's starting to show a little bit of wear and tear. I know you guys think I'm crazy, but I'm telling you.
I think you're crazy.
In this game in particular, like if it was just the Dolphin game, I would have said sure. But he, watching the second half of this game the Steelers were getting to him, and he was making some bad decisions, like the interception he threw, I think, in the third quarter, where it just like that's a throw Tom Brady does not make.
Right. I'm not like I said last week, I don't think he's going to go fall off the cliff and be terrible by next weekend. But and this is something else I wanted to bring up too. I think that here's what I think: either Bill Belichick fully intends to walk away from the game the same time Tom Brady does, or he screwed this team by getting rid of Jimmy Garoppolo. Because from the way Garoppolo's played and now, and yeah. I don't think Brady's going to be able to do this for another 5 years. I know his plan was to play till he was 45, but that's not going to happen because it's just you can't do it. I've been there. I've been, now granted not at an NFL level athlete, but I remember like from my 39th birthday to my 40th, all of a sudden I couldn't play ball anymore, and I didn't do anything differently. It was just like things that I could do the year before I couldn't do anymore, and after that it slowly kind of goes away and. The next thing you know, you're some idiot sitting in a chair talking in your basement instead of out playing baseball like you should be. But I'll tell you what that game did with me yesterday is it gave me hope for the rest of the not the rest of the AFC, but these teams can be had if one of those other teams can put together the perfect game, they can beat those guys.
I don't think the other teams can though. I think
the rest of the AFC is kind of a shit pile.
I'm going to throw this out there. Blake Bortles has played pretty good football his last 3 games, and those Jaguars are looking okay. Look at the stats. Don't look at the stats. Look at the stats.
Greg, if Jacksonville wants to do their thing, they have to go to Pittsburgh or they have to go to New England.
Not necessarily.
Yeah.
We still got 2 games. We still got 2 games left. Pittsburgh loses.
They're not passing them up.
Huh?
They're not going to pass them up.
I'm not saying they could. They certainly could pass one of them.
Is Cleveland losing or is Cleveland bleeding the Steelers?
Well, of course not. I'm not saying it's going to happen. I'm saying it could happen.
Greg, look, don't put your faith in Blake Bortles because you're only going to get what you deserve.
I'm telling you that Blake Bortles has played pretty good football the last 3 games. That defense is legit, and again, I'm not saying it's going to happen, and that's a distinction I can't seem to make with you guys. I'm saying it's possible. If Jacksonville plays like they played yesterday or last week, they can beat New England. I don't care where they play them.
I want to go through the last few games with you with these Jaguars. Blake Bortles has played well against the decimated Texans.
Yeah,
a Seahawks team that clearly is not good anymore. The Colts, who are bad, they lost to the Cardinals. They only beat the Browns in Cleveland 19-7.
Well,
they beat the Chargers 20-17 in a game that they tried to lose so badly.
But that was like 6 weeks ago.
Right. I'm saying that they really haven't looked like they're racking up the wins, but their schedule is a cakewalk.
Okay. All right. I'm just saying, look, again, and I can't stress this enough. I'm not saying it's going to happen. I'm saying it could. I'm telling you, if the Jaguars play like they played yesterday against New England, they can beat them. Simple as that.
And I'm telling you that if in some weird scenario where the Jags somehow managed to upset, say, the Steelers and they played the Patriots in the AFC title game, it's going to get ugly.
Okay, I'm not. Look,
it'll get ugly.
What? How many times do I have to say? I'm not saying it will happen. I'm saying it could.
I know, but
I understand it could, and you're playing the devil's advocate. I'm just telling you it won't.
Okay, all right.
I get what you're saying. I'm not trying to just yell at you and run you out of the room. I'm just saying it's not going to happen.
I don't. If I had to bet money on it, I would say no. But I'm saying that after watching the Steelers and the Patriots yesterday, they are very, very good. But I never thought the Steelers were invincible, but I thought the Patriots couldn't be taken. I think if given the right circumstances, they could be taken this year. Where 6 weeks ago I'd have never said that, but they've got weaknesses. But you've got to be. You can't do what Pittsburgh did yesterday and stick your head up your ass a few times and still expect to win. Like if the Steelers had made the interception, I think who was the other team that almost had them and lost missed an interception that wasn't it Houston? Didn't they? No, they beat the Patriots, didn't they?
No, Houston didn't.
Houston didn't beat the Patriots. Yeah, same thing. They had an interception.
Yeah, you're right, but you can't give them any opportunities, obviously. Right. Yeah. But I just they don't scare me quite as much as they used to, which is to say that's like 10% less than it was 4 weeks ago. And I don't think it's as hopeless as it looks in the AFC. But like the Steelers showed, here's the thing the Steelers have to do now. They saw they could play with these guys yesterday. Now they just got to figure out a way to hang on and beat them. That's what you got to do.
They would have to beat them in New England, most likely.
Yeah. Well, who do the Patriots have left?
I can show you. The Patriots finish up with the Bills and Jets.
Oh, fuck.
Both at home.
Both are at home?
Yeah.
Oh, our boy Tyrod Taylor's not going to be able to get the job done in New England. Aren't the Bills 8-6 right now, too?
They are.
How the hell are they hanging around like this? That's amazing.
And the Steelers finish up with the Texans and Browns. So
both teams are probably looking to stay put standings-wise.
Yeah.
And I don't think the Jaguars would pass them up in that case either.
No, but okay, let me put it this way. If the Jaguars...
Jacksonville doesn't exactly play, a murderer's row at the end here, too. Well, they have the 49ers on the road, and they could lose that game.
Didn't the Niners beat the Titans yesterday?
They did.
Yeah.
I called it. Remember, I called it last week. I said that Jimmy Garoppolo and the 49ers will win that game. I'm going to say it again this week. I think the 49ers, okay, so now I'm going to back off completely from what I just said 10 minutes ago. I think the Niners beat Jacksonville if they're in San Francisco.
It's in Santa Clara, yes.
No, I don't. No, that defense is too good. I don't care. That's the difference between my irrational confidence Titans. The Jags defense is legit. It can play. So I don't think that's going to happen, but I don't know.
Anyway, so yeah, you mentioned the Jags. They steamrolled the Texans 45-7. Poor Texans. They were so promising at one point.
Yeah, but that's what happens when your quarterback of the future goes down.
Oh yeah. I mean, the quarterback of the future goes down. J.J. Watt's injured again. Like, what are you going to do?
Yeah, wasn't what's his name? T.J. Yates, wasn't he their quarterback yesterday?
Yeah.
Savage is injured too.
Injured, right?
Oh, that was, geez, man. They got to get that concussion protocol thing fixed too, because that dude should have never taken that field again after that hit in the end zone. But anyway.
Let's.
The Browns remain winless, keeping the hope for 0-16 alive.
Dude, it's a foregone conclusion now.
It's a lock. The
only way it doesn't happen is if the Steelers are completely set in their playoff position, and no matter what happens, it doesn't change. Then they might rest the starters, and you never know. But
they're at the Bears this week.
The Browns?
Yeah, they're at the Bears.
Nah, Bears. Even the Bears are too good. And
by the way, I saw this stat the other day. In the time, we went 15 years without a Star Wars movie, right?
Mm-hmm.
We've had 3 Star Wars movies in the last 3 years. But in the time that there's been the 3 Star Wars movies, there's only been 1 Browns victory.
Yeah.
Oh, God.
Between the release of The Force Awakens and today, there has only been 1 Browns victory.
Yeah.
It was against my Chargers.
Yeah.
Yeah, they're going to go. Have you guys heard that there's a bunch of idiots who are going to have a parade if they go 0-16?
That's not nice.
That's not even funny. I mean, yeah.
Speaking of your Chargers, Mike.
Oh yeah, that dream's over.
Yeah, let's put the song back into storage.
Yeah.
Saturday Night Football.
No, it was Thursday Night Football on
Saturday.
I thought that's what it was, but they have changed it. It is a NFL Network special for Saturdays now. They realized their error of their ways and took off the Thursday part.
Yeah, because that was dumb. That was dumb for a very long time.
Yes. But Chargers, Chiefs found are back on track, I guess. 2 wins in a row now.
Did they finally figure out that cover 2?
Sounds like it.
So here's what we got left for the Chiefs. The Chiefs have the Dolphins and Broncos. And the Chargers have the Raiders, I know, on New Year's Eve. They have the Jets and the Raiders. So the Chargers lost both games to Kansas City?
Yes.
Yeah.
Yes. Yeah. So did Kansas City clinch the division?
Yeah. They San Diego. Oh, it's not San Diego. Los Angeles of Santa Clara of Costa Mesa.
Okay. Yeah. They have a 1-game lead. So right.
They need to. The Chargers need to run the table and hope the Chiefs trip up.
Yes.
Basically, right? Yeah, because the Chiefs are now they're 8-6 also.
Yeah, the Chiefs have a 1-game lead and the tiebreaker, so they would need to lose both games, and the Chargers would need to win both games.
Okay.
So.
Yeah, I think our dream of the Chargers, it was nice while it lasted, but it's over.
Well, how about let me pull up the playoff standings, because I think that they could still.
They could. I think they could. They can.
Couldn't they?
They're only a game out of the wild card,
right?
So that they could still get in on the wild card, and
so the current wild card teams would be your Tennessee Titans and your Buffalo Bills.
I still think it would be hilarious if the Chargers ended up leapfrogging the Bills on tiebreakers just because of that Nathan Peterman game.
Did the Ravens fall out of the playoff spot? They sure did, didn't they?
Ravens are also 8-6. Yeah,
but they're not. Yeah, they don't have any tiebreakers in their favor.
No, so. Wow.
Not yet, but God, the Tennessee Titans would be a playoff team as of right now.
Yeah, that's what I mean.
That's such a bad team.
Isn't this one where you just got to go look? Okay, yeah, the Ravens don't have the tiebreakers, but really they should be in the playoffs instead of the Titans. I mean, right? Or the Chargers? There has to be some sort of rule we can make.
I'd rather have the Raiders in over the Titans at this point.
I mean, a lot of the years I've had my irrational confidence in this team, it was like they were, spunky and tough, but not. This year, it's like their record is way better than they are. Because I watched some of them and say they're not good.
If the Titans make the playoffs, it's solely to be a group of bodies for one of the divisional winners to beat up on before.
Okay, but here right now, the opening round in the AFC, the wild card games would be Kansas City, Tennessee.
Oh, that sounds ugly.
And Buffalo, Jacksonville.
Oh God.
Oh, that's some bad.
Those are two games though. But don't you think though that either one of those games could go either way?
I mean, yeah, but not in an exciting way. It's more of like that Jags-Chargers game from a few weeks back where it's like...
Here, you take it.
Really?
No, you take it. Take it. I swear you should take it.
God, the AFC sucks, man.
That's some bad AFC football.
Whereas over in the National Football Conference, you'd have Panthers-Saints again.
That could be
or Rams-Falcons.
Both of those are good.
Well, and it depends on what the Falcons do tonight. If they lose, then I guess it would be Detroit's in there, Seattle's in there, the Cowboys are in there at 8-6 also.
I think the Cowboys have the easiest path at this point, don't they? What's their schedule look like the rest of the way?
Let's see. There's a lot of teams.
Oh no, they've got Seattle who will be playing for a spot, and then the Eagles at Philadelphia, which could matter if the Eagles haven't clinched home field by then.
And Seattle, where is Seattle? Open up. Seattle has the Cowboys and Cardinals. The Seahawks might end up being in this thing. Oh, God, if I have to play the Seahawks for a third damn time this season, swear to God.
Well, see, the Rams are 3 seed right now, right? Or
right, they're 10-4. They're a game behind Minnesota and 2 games behind Philly. But Philly clinched the first round bye, beating the Giants last week, and Minnesota clinched the division with a win over the Bengals.
Well, you're lucky because the Vikings are coming to Green Bay this week, and if Aaron Rodgers plays, the Packers have a shot at beating him. So that could help the Rams.
The Rams finish up with the suddenly difficult 49ers in 2 weeks, and they have the Titans this week.
Yeah, so they're in good shape. They're not gonna. That team's legit, man. That Rams team, they are just legit.
100%. Like, I've said it plenty of times this season, but for them to go into a hostile environment in Seattle against a team that already beat them, knowing that we need to go in there and take care of business, and the way that they just shut down Seattle,
it was beautiful.
It was, yeah. They dominated that game. It was never a question.
Who called the Rams to win the division?
You did.
Just saying.
Yeah.
Just saying.
Yeah.
I mean, just saying.
Even if I had called them to win the division, I thought they would have won it at 10-6 or 9-7.
Yeah, right, exactly. Yeah.
But for them to potentially, if they win the next 2 games, they'll have a 12-4 season.
Yeah.
I couldn't have imagined that. 12-4, one of the highest scoring offense in the league. It's one of the greatest turnarounds in league history.
Yeah, single year turnarounds. God.
Well, I can't think anything close to that.
No, what were they last year? What was
they were
3 and something.
3-13 were they last year?
Pretty goddamn bad.
I know they were awful. I mean, they couldn't score points, and they were just horrifically bad. I just don't know what this. I mean, I don't know how Jeff Fisher kept the job all these years because, man, has he been exposed this year?
The Rams were if the Rams can win their final two games, they will have perfectly reversed their record from a year ago.
Yeah.
4-12 to 12-4.
Well, this is kind of what they did in the Super Bowl years with Kurt Warner. They were 3-13 the year before they won the Super Bowl in '99.
That's true. Yeah.
I just know they're really fun to watch. It's a damn shame because if they had the right uniforms, this team would be incredible to watch.
They really just need if they do make it to the Super Bowl, they just need to wear the throwbacks and just be like, we'll pay the fine.
I think the NFL, if that happens, the NFL will allow them to wear the throwbacks because they do not want those shit uniforms on the biggest stage of the year.
The problem is they'd be the road team.
They have road throwbacks.
Sure, they can make some.
No, they don't.
They can make some real quick.
Yeah, but they're throwbacks. They wouldn't be hard to make. It's not like they'd be designing a whole new uniform.
Yeah.
And the pants and helmets are already there. You're really just making jerseys.
Yeah. One quick uniform note before I forget. And with the Browns, how many years is it until they can switch over again? Because I've noticed they've worn white on white every opportunity they've gotten this year. Is it next year?
I think next year.
They're already gearing up for a change because we have not seen.
No, wait, sorry. I think it's 2020. No.
Let's see. Well, they switched uniforms and have won 5 games since, or 4 games since then. So.
Hang on, I'm gonna pull this up because it's bothering me.
But the point I'm making is that they are clearly ditching this identity because they have gone white on white every chance they've been able to this year. I think.
2020 is the earliest they can change.
Wow, that's stupid. They got to change that fucking rule too. That's stupid. I mean, I get it. You don't want to make it like so everybody can change every year, but then again, why not?
In 2015 is when the graphic switches to the fiery, burny orange of the Cleveland Dog Pound passion. And the brown, that remains unchanged.
Okay. But yeah, I think that I just noticed that when I was watching a little bit of the game yesterday that they have worn white on white almost every game this year.
Yeah.
And
with the Rams.
If they love those, but the Rams have a reason. You know, the Browns just went to these things a couple of years ago.
Reason.
Huh?
They made up a reason because they didn't want to wear the blue at home.
Right, but that's what I mean. But the Browns, you know, these are these new uniforms that, they're great and blah, blah, blah. And now they're clearly getting as far away from this whole thing as they can. Anyway, back to football. Don't need to talk about the Cleveland Browns when we're talking about the NFL.
Yeah. Well, yeah. Let's see. Anything else? So we've covered the Chiefs. Do
you guys think the Chiefs are back a little bit now?
Yeah, I think they're fine.
I think they've kind of righted the ship, haven't they?
I think they're back insofar as anyone not the Patriots or Steelers could be back in the AFC. Like, it's just sort of.
I think the Chiefs could beat the Steelers easy. I think that
maybe. I don't know.
As long as the Steelers don't run a cover 2, the Chiefs would have no trouble with them.
I gotta say, I'm still just beyond surprised that the Bills are still in the playoffs picture right now.
Well, you know, if you think about it, now we don't know who would have won that game had they started Tyrod Taylor, but let's say that he starts and they win. They'd be 9-5 right now. They'd be
9-5, you know, assuming they beat the it was the Chargers.
The way the Chargers beat them.
I don't think that would have happened.
6 interceptions changes a lot about a game, but I still don't think the Chargers would have lost to the.
I don't either because I don't either, but still. I mean,
it's worth noting that Tyrod Taylor threw a touchdown on them and ran one in after he was finally allowed to do his job.
Yeah, on the second stringers.
Yeah.
But they were already down by 40, you know? Like,
I wish I could look at this Bills team and go, yeah, they could be a spoiler, but they're going to get killed by whoever they play in the playoffs.
Because they're scheduled, they finish up with the Pats and they play the Dolphins again. Twice in 3 weeks.
Is the Dolphins game in Miami?
Yeah.
Oh, boy, they could pull out those throwbacks. That'd be a beauty. Oh, man, that'd be a good-looking game. Bills and the roads, yeah, that would look good. But, I don't even know if they can win those last 2 games.
Vikings clinch the division. Good for them. Saints win again. They're 10-4.
Do guys want to talk about the Carolina Panthers? Because
I do. I want to talk about this game only because I want to know, Greg, how long was your hope for the Packers to make that playoff run? How long did that hope exist?
I never had it.
You didn't think?
No, I thought it was a horrible idea to bring him back. Because look, you had
3 TDs.
Yeah, but you still got to win 3. You got to win 3 very tough games, and then hope for a bunch of other stuff to happen. I didn't think it was worth it, and No, I never had that much hope to begin with. But I'll say this: that Panther seems pretty good.
Yeah.
You know.
And
What about they're pretty good and they're up for sale too.
Oh yeah, jeez.
Right? Because did you read the Jerry Richardson allegations?
I only read I saw bits and pieces of it. I didn't see I haven't read the actual story.
It's creepy.
Yeah,
it's pretty creepy.
Old guy basically told Fridays were Gene's Fridays, and told and would walk around the office and ask some of the women to stand up and how'd you get in those things? You must have painted them on.
Oh God.
But he's a kindly Southern gent, so it's just
kindly Southern perv. It sounds like
everyone is supposed to refer to him as Mister, not Mr. Richardson, not Jerry, not the owner, but like you would say Mister.
Kind of like the old slave name thing, right?
Yeah, Mister, and you had to and what else? Oh yeah, and for staff meetings, you need to show up, and you have to show up early and get as close a seat as possible to where he sits.
Where he sits on a bar stool at the front of the room.
Yeah.
Wow. I just read that.
And if he asks you out to lunch, you can't say no.
Even if you've already eaten.
I just read about where he had asked some of the women if he could shave their legs. That's
apparently
show up barefoot and ask for foot massages.
Right.
God damn, Jesus Christ, and now they're up for sale.
Well, I've read too that
they immediately came up for sale. I wonder how that happened.
I don't know. I don't live down there, and I don't know how true this is. But I was reading an article today, and I guess that in the South, this shit just doesn't play. If he didn't sell, there was talk that Bank of America would want to take their name off the stadium and all this other stuff because they don't like scandal of any sort with corporate business in the South. I guess I don't know. But all that aside, I mean, if he's a perv, it's probably best to just sell and get the hell out.
Yeah. So one of the most vocal of the potential buyers so far has been P. Diddy.
Really?
Yeah.
Oh.
He ain't got that kind of money.
And his first order of business, well, you get an investor group together. But according to him, his first order of business would be to sign Colin Kaepernick. Despite them having Cam Newton.
Despite them having a pretty good quarterback.
Oh, yeah.
Pretty good black quarterback as it was.
Right.
It's that doesn't really you give Colin Kaepernick a job, and I know it means a lot to a lot of people, but you're not really adding anything because he's not going to play.
No.
You already have a starting quarterback.
Well, I think too with
fill some roles.
I think with Kaepernick, and I'm as guilty of it as anybody, that because of the situation that led to his being blacklisted, that I kind of forgot that he really wasn't that good. I mean, to be completely honest about it, he had a pretty good stretch for the 49ers last year, but other than that, he hasn't been that great.
Yeah.
But hey.
Yeah.
But I
guess Colin Kaepernick tweeted that he wanted to be part of the ownership group, not necessarily be signed. So I don't know. It sounds like he's done with the football. So.
P. Diddy and Colin Kaepernick sounds like exactly the type of ownership group that would get approval from every other NFL team.
Could you imagine Jerry Jones going head to head with P. Diddy at an owners meeting? Could we please?
Well, speaking of which, it seems as if Jerry Jones lost in his bid to oust the Ginger Hammer.
Yeah. We all kind of. I think that was. I don't know. That's too bad, kind of.
That's strange though, too. Because it's Jerry Jones is one of the more influential owners in the league.
Yeah. I also think though
to get that kind of pushback.
Kind of clear that he had a bit of a vendetta going there too, though. I don't know that. I don't know. It's the other owners must be happy with Goodell. I can't imagine why, other than he must just be bringing in the money. But I can't even imagine that's the case anymore.
Look, the money that the NFL makes has got to be on such a degree of autopilot.
Yeah,
I want to know. Okay, Roger Goodell. And I don't even know if he got it. I assume he got his raise and his contract extension. But before that, I know he was making $44 million a year. What does he do, on a day-to-day basis? What is your average day like for Roger Goodell as commissioner of the National Football League? Because everything's pretty much got to be on autopilot. The TV contracts take care of themselves.
Yeah.
I guess player discipline, but that's not an everyday thing. The league is pretty much set. I don't know.
Well, technically, discipline isn't even part of his job anyway. So supposedly, isn't that handled by Gene Washington? Isn't he the guy in charge of that? I don't know what he does. I mean, I don't know what he does, and I certainly don't know what he does to be worth $44 million a year. That I don't get at all. But hey, you know what? He's getting paid what the market says he's worth, so good for him, I suppose.
Yeah.
I don't know.
I don't know either.
But I think the Panthers, back to the actual stuff on the field, I think are pretty tough this year.
Yeah.
They seemed early on, they were kind of schizophrenic. You didn't know what you were going to get with them, but they seemed to straighten it out, and they're pretty tough.
Yeah. No, they I don't know. That the whole NFC South is pretty tough. The whole NFC is
well, 3/4 of the NFC South is pretty tough.
Did any of us think that the South would be this good this year? I didn't.
Oh.
I thought it was actually going to be better because I was all three teams are pretty much, well, okay, the Saints exceed my expectations, but I expected the Saints, Panthers, and Falcons to all be good in their own way, but I was also expecting the Bucks to be much better than they are.
Everybody was. That I don't know what happened with that team.
Like, I legitimately thought this was going to be a 4-way race to the top, and instead it's just a 3-way race, which is still good, but again, I was expecting certain things from my Tampa Bay Buccaneers, and none of it panned out.
Yeah, it sure didn't. One other thing I wanted to bring up before I forget, too. At long last, Zach, it looks like Marvin Lewis is going to finally leave Cincinnati, but it's going to be on his own terms.
He's not even getting fired?
Nope.
No, he's just leaving.
He's just leaving.
Oh, God. You know what? Kudos to him for making it through all of this without actually getting fired.
I think he just figured out there was only so many seasons he could get away with it before he finally decided, I'm going to get out before they fire me.
Oh, man. That's fantastic.
And I hate to bring the Cleveland Browns back into the picture again, but the rumor's running hot and heavy right now that the Bengals are going to trade for Browns coach Hugh Jackson to bring him back to Cincinnati.
Why would the Browns get rid of their only person who seems to know what he's doing?
Because the new GM, John Dorsey, would then be able to handpick his own coach, and it wouldn't look like they were firing him. It would just be like, hey, we're going to get a couple of nice draft picks.
Because another complete reset is exactly what the Cleveland Browns need.
Well, I agree.
I really don't get this whole, the new GM. Well, he definitely needs to get his guy. It's like,
I don't know what difference it makes.
Why don't you just work with the coach you have?
Look,
Right.
if Hugh Jackman is doing a good job, then you keep him.
You mean Hugh Jackson?
I know, I know that, but I called him Hugh Jackman.
Oh, I got you. Okay,
thank you, Greg. Thank you.
Sorry, I fucking just blew that joke, didn't I? Sorry about that.
By the way, Greg,
yes.
in other football, we didn't get a chance to talk about it. It's the start of Capital One Bowl Fortnight.
Yeah, I know. God, it's beautiful, man. I know.
What bullshit bowls do we have going?
Well, we had a few last Saturday that kicked off the Capital One Bowl.
I did not even know. I didn't even know about these. I felt so bad that I missed them.
Boise State knocked up Oregon in the Las Vegas Bowl.
That was one I was bummed I missed. Actually.
Is that a bowl? I didn't know that was a bowl, but okay.
Yeah, the Las Vegas Bowl.
Mike, if you're gonna start following college football while you're here in the U.S., you got to get on board with Capital One Bowl Fortnight.
Yeah. Okay.
Yeah, you got.
Yeah.
Well, it was Capital One Bowl week, and then they realized it's actually we sat there, we're like, wait a second, it's 10, 12, 13, 14 days.
Yeah.
But so then we joked that it's Capital One Bowl Fortnight, but now they've changed it to Capital One Bowl Mania.
Yeah.
We will still call it the Capital One Bowl Fortnight.
Right. We're going to refer to it as proper name.
Troy knocks off the North Texas Mean Green in the R&L Carriers New Orleans Bowl.
Could you repeat that for a moment? I didn't get all of that.
The R&L Carriers New Orleans Bowl.
What's R&L Carrier? What is this?
It's a trucking company.
It's
Why do they have a bowl?
Because
that's a fair question.
I mean, those ones, the last two bowls obviously take place in Las Vegas and New Orleans. But how about the Auto Nation Cure Bowl, where Georgia State knocked off Western Kentucky, 6-6 Western Kentucky, with a 27-17 victory.
Well, you're going to see a lot of 6-6 teams in here. First off, but secondly, if you put a gun to my head, I couldn't tell you where this game was played. Let me take a guess.
I've already forgotten the name of it. Is something
the AutoNation Cure Bowl?
Cure, like
fighting for a cure for cancer.
AutoNation. Yeah. Okay.
I'm going to go with Tennessee somewhere. Memphis.
I don't know. AutoNation. Detroit, maybe.
Mike, you could have been the correspondent for this one. Camping World Stadium in Orlando, Florida.
Oh, why wasn't I informed? I would have been like Bass on assignment. It's like, I'm here.
I guarantee you,
Cure Nation Bowl of
something.
Western Kentucky.
We had then in the Gildan T-shirts New Mexico Bowl. We have Marshall knocking off Colorado State.
Okay.
Holding on for victory in that one.
The Thundering Herd ran over the Rams.
Yes. And then here's another one to throw you for a loop, Mike. The Raycom Media Camellia Bowl.
That's
What's a camellia?
Yeah, that's my question too.
It's a type of flower, I believe.
Okay.
I'm going to go with San Diego for that one.
What's Raycom Media?
It's a media company. They actually own a few stations in Tampa.
Okay.
TV stations. Radio, too, I think.
Yeah, Raycom Media Camellia Bowl were the Middle Tennessee. What are the Middle Tennessees?
They're the Raiders, I think.
Blue Raiders knocked off the Arkansas State Red Wolves 35-30.
Oh, got a classic red versus blue thing going there. Look at that.
Indeed. And this game was played in
San Diego.
Beautiful and scenic Montgomery, Alabama. I believe the camellia is the state flower of Alabama.
Yeah.
Well,
I believe that's the case.
Well, bully for them.
This is just because I love the bowl, Capital One Bowl Fortnight, because I just love college football.
Oh.
and I love watching some of these teams that I know I would never otherwise ever watch, no matter what.
Greg, hold on. There have been some moving around of sponsors for some of these bowls.
Okay.
That are upcoming, and I don't know what to do with them.
All right.
So tomorrow night we get the prestigious Boca Raton Bowl, with between Akron and Florida Atlantic.
Oh God, the Zips are going to get slaughtered in that game.
I believe FAU is the Fighting Lane Kiffins, aren't they?
Right. Yeah. Exactly.
Yeah. All right. So the Boca Raton Bowl has a new sponsor. They're the Cherubundi Tart Cherry.
Oh, for fuck's
Boca
sake.
Raton Bowl.
What's a Cherubundi tart?
I don't know.
These titles are so long that by the time you get to the third word, I've forgotten what the fourth word.
Okay. Cherubundi.
Hold on, I'm looking it up. Cherubundi Tart Cherry.
Some sort of breakfast pastry?
It's a juice. It's juice.
Okay.
It's like a healthy juice company.
Oh.
Discover the power of tart cherry juice.
Wow, I wonder how much they paid for that, huh?
Cherubundi packs over 50 cherries into each bottle, which gives you a nutrient-packed elixir that fights off inflammation, improves sleep, boosts memory, and more.
Couldn't I just eat 50 cherries?
Yeah.
Yeah, but that's taking all the fun right out of it, Mike. Come on.
So that one, and a weird one here. Florida Atlantic is in that game, as I said. It's in Boca Raton, Florida, at FAU Stadium. So
that doesn't seem quite fair, does it?
No, not really.
Well, it's always a special occasion when you actually get a team playing in their home stadium for the Tart Cherry Bowl.
Well, they're playing Akron, right?
Yeah.
Okay,
Zips.
The Zips. So a little trivia about the Zips. They have a mascot named Zippy. Can either one of you tell me what is special about Zippy?
He's a kangaroo.
Kangaroo, yeah.
No, that's not it. Zippy is the only female mascot in all of Division I football. Zippy's a girl.
Yes.
Yeah. And that's all I know about Akron.
That's tomorrow on Tuesday. On Wednesday, we have the DXL Frisco Bowl.
What?
Frisco, being played at Frisco, Texas, Toyota Stadium, home of the MLS's Houston Dynamo.
Wait a minute. That's not like just somebody being stupid about the name San Francisco. It's actually
wow.
Frisco,
Texas.
Okay.
Yeah,
Frisco, Texas.
a barn burner between 6-6 Louisiana Tech and 7-5 LMU.
Wow.
Well, Dennis will be watching that one.
Here's one, Mike. Again, this is one that I need you to be our correspondent for this on Thursday.
I'll see if I can get tickets for what's surely to be,
I'll get you. We'll set you up with media passes here.
Oh, okay.
Yeah, here you go. You can see a wonderful game between the 6-6 Temple Owls.
Okay.
And the 8-4 Florida International Golden Panthers, something like that.
They're the Owls too.
No, Florida.
No, that's
Florida Atlantic. The
Florida International Golden Panthers.
Okay.
This one being played at scenic Tropicana Field.
Oh yeah.
That's what you want.
Bad Boy Mowers Gasparilla Bowl.
Is anyone at least the least bit amused that the Bad Boy Mowers Bowl is going to be played on artificial?
Oh, that's the beauty of this whole thing, man. Come on.
Mike, again, you left out the important part. It's the Bad Boy Mowers is the sponsor, but it is the Gasparilla Bowl.
Oh, the Gasparilla Bowl. Okay. Well, Gasparilla's fun.
Sure, so the Bad Boy Mowers Gasparilla Bowl being played on the artificial turf of St. Petersburg, Florida.
So will the halftime entertainment be a bunch of pirates riding lawnmowers?
It should be if it's not. Come on.
This is from SB Nation.
Tell me that wouldn't be the greatest.
Bad Boy Mowers Gasparilla Bowl is going to have a lawnmower race.
Tell me pirates on lawnmowers wouldn't be awesome.
And when is this?
Thursday.
You know what? I'll be in Canada by then. Sorry.
Oh no.
I'm sorry. I can't go to this.
Yeah, that's too bad. Friday, then we get UAB in Ohio, a matchup of two 8-4 teams in the Bahamas Bowl. No sponsor.
The Bahamas Bowl is one that I can't get too upset about because at least these guys get a trip to the Bahamas, so that's not too.
Yeah, right. That's pretty
exactly.
Good.
But now, speaking of sponsorship, wouldn't it have been perfect for, say, R&L Carriers to sponsor the Bahamas Bowl, a trucking company on a game played on an island?
Well, we already have the lawnmowers on.
I'm just saying. And I'm still going to stand by this. Pirates on lawnmowers, greatest halftime show ever. If they're not going to do it at the bowl game, do it at the Super Bowl this year.
Yeah.
All right.
Also on Friday, we get the famous Idaho Potato Bowl between Central Michigan and Wyoming.
That would suck. You play your season, you get to go to a bowl game, yippee, and you go to freaking freezing cold Boise, Idaho.
Boise on December 22nd.
Yeah, thank you, but no.
That sounds fun.
And here's another one. The Dollar General Bowl from Mobile, Alabama, featuring the Appalachian State Mountaineers, 8-4, and the 11-2 Toledo Rockets.
Yeah, baby. Look at my Rockets go.
7.5-point favorites over the Mountaineers.
Okay, you want a little gambling advice, Bass listeners? Put a little money on the Appalachian State, whatever the hell, the Mountaineers. Those boys can play. They're good.
We have some old standbys, later on. We have the Zaxby's Heart of Dallas Bowl.
Did we get to the bowl that's played in Detroit, or is it not there anymore, the Little Caesars Bowl?
Well, now that's the Quick Lane Bowl. Ford Field, Detroit, Michigan, Tuesday, December 26th. Duke and Northern Illinois.
Wow, that's going to be – I don't even know if I even give a shit about that one.
Throw the records out when those two play.
Right, exactly. I just think that, especially if you're Duke, okay, you're down there in nice, warm South Carolina, and they go, okay, you've had a good season, you get to go to Detroit. Yeah, thanks for that.
Yeah.
We should probably
Detroit
hold on.
Christmas.
Yeah, Detroit. Right. Although Ford Field looks nice. I have not been in it yet, but I went to Comerica, which has got a beautiful baseball park, but that's beside the point. Yeah. It looks nice from the outside. I don't know what it's like on the inside, but it looks really nice from the outside. But the rest of it, especially in that part of Detroit, yeah, no thanks. So if I was Duke, I'd be like, yeah, we'll pass. We'll just stay home, go to a basketball game or something.
I'm not looking for matchups at this point. I'm just looking at the new sponsors. We have the Independence Bowl is now sponsored by Walk-Ons, whatever that is.
I don't know. No idea.
By the way, again, another great place to go. Hey, Florida State, you're Florida State. You had a good, 6-6. You made it to bowl eligibility after a rough start. We're going to send you to Shreveport.
I'm pretty sure they had a CFL team at one point.
They had a WFL team, I know, for sure. The Shreveport Steamers, I think they were called.
The Texas Bowl is now sponsored by Academy Sports and Outdoors. One of my favorites, the San Diego County Credit Union Holiday Bowl.
That Holiday Bowl, actually, it's history.
Holiday Bowl's a good one.
It's usually a
this
very
year
good game, yeah.
Washington State, Michigan State.
Yeah, that should be pretty good.
Here we go. The Shreveport Pirates.
Was that what they were called?
Yep.
What league are we talking? CFL?
The CFL, part of the American expansion. They got a pretty trippy logo, too.
Look up WFL in Shreveport. I think they were called the Steamers, but I'm not sure. But they had a World Football League team, too, that ill-fated league that lasted like 2 seasons back in the 70s.
World Football League. Let's see. Yes, the Steamer.
Okay.
Not
plural?
Steamers.
The Steamer?
Just the Steamer.
Well, there's part of the reason they failed. Have you guys ever looked up some of the uniforms those teams wore?
Yeah.
I think they were called the California something or other. Check out their uniforms sometime. Wow.
The Southern California Sun.
Yeah, check out their uniforms sometime. Anyway, okay, where were we at, Zach? We're on the bowl games, sponsorships, right?
Yeah, most of them were pretty normal after that point, or ones that we've seen for many years. You know,
Yeah.
Your Valero Alamo Bowls, your Hyundai Sun Bowls, Goodyear Cotton Bowls, the Belk Bowl continues.
Oh, good. You should know what
Franklin
Belk.
American Mortgage, Music City Bowl.
Belk is isn't that don't they have Belk stores down where you're at, Mike, in Tampa?
It sounds familiar.
Okay, yeah.
I've
AutoZone Liberty Bowl.
I know that.
The crime that is the PlayStation Fiesta Bowl, R.I.P. Tostitos.
Wow, that's what replaced Tostitos?
No, well, it would originally place. No, remember, it went from Tostitos to the Battle Frog Fiesta Bowl.
Yeah.
And then, Outback Bowl, Chick-fil-A Bowl. The fact that the Gator Bowl has just been usurped by the Tax Slayer Bowl is a crime. Tax Slayer Gator Bowl.
Who's in the Outback Bowl this year? That's usually a pretty good game.
Michigan, South Carolina. The last time those two played each other in the Outback Bowl, Jadeveon Clowney killed a man.
Yeah, that's right. one of the greatest gifts of all time. Are we done?
That we are.
We will be back later this week with the second best Star Wars Holiday Special. That should be fun. And until then, we'll see you next time. Subscribe via iTunes, Stitcher, Spreaker, and YouTube. Follow us on Twitter at Basically Sports, and find us on Facebook. May the Force be with you all.
And also with you.